a deuce, an ace, deuce?
No, it was blinded by the night, dressed
No.
up like a douche in the middle of the night. It's what it sounded like to me.
Blinded by the light,
Okay, whatever. Dressed up like a...
deuce.
No, they say douche. It does. That's what it sounds like. But and that's bad of them. But anyways, all right, we're rolling. We're on air. Testing 1, 2, 3.
I'm gonna get them lyrics for you.
I think we're recording too. Okay, so everybody should know we've been in Pennsylvania for the last 3 weeks.
It's only 3 weeks.
Right, but we're recording on location here, and we can tell everybody. Everybody knows our lives. The reason we're here, your brother,
My brother.
has stage 4 cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody's praying, we'd appreciate the prayers for Keith Honecker. That is his name. He has stage 4 cancer. So, prayers for him. Trucking.
Brum, brum.
Yes. Gosh, there's so much in the news this week. One of the things I wanted to, I kind of always open up with a story. Not always open up with a story. You hear a vehicle going by. We're not in
stray coughs too, because we're
not in the studio. We're actually in a bedroom with portable equipment we brought with us.
We didn't quite expect to be here for quite as long as we are. We brought it in case of emergency, but we didn't think that we would be here for this amount of time.
Right. So, anyways, here we are.
Here we are.
Okay, so story. Talking to a driver this week, and we got to talking, and he was telling me that he had taken about the story when he took his wife for the first time on the road with him.
Mm-hmm.
How she said she has a new profound respect for truckers.
That's good because, every woman should have some respect.
Well, everybody, not just women, everybody should have a respect for what truckers go through. You're going to hear cars on this podcast because we're right by a highway. But anyways, interesting was because she said she was under the impression that all truckers are just basically steering wheel holders, And she realized, watching people cut him off, watching him stay up waiting for loads, watching him have to, finagle driving, just negotiating, and just, if you're a person that's never driven a truck, and you get in a big rig with a truck driver and he does 3,000 miles, it's gonna wear you out. Mm-hmm. Going 3,000 miles that you're not used to doing as a passenger. It's going to wear you out watching him drive 3,000 miles.
Mm-hmm. Just sitting there, it's exhausting too. And then when not only if they're doing cross country, doing like the OTR, but if it's someone that's more regional and they're doing LTL, that makes it more exhausting also because it's constant. It's like every short bit you're stopping and you're unloading so much and then you're going back through and you're doing it over and over and over. So it gets exhausting no matter which it is, whether it's OTR or if it's LTL.
Exactly. And our nephew's sick in the background, coughing. So what a podcast, because I'm not going to really be able to edit this one too good.
You're getting the raw of us.
Yeah, you guys are going to get, this is going to be the uncut, unedited version for, the first time we've done that in probably 8 years, because the podcast is almost 10 years old. This November it'll be 10 years old. Anyways, so going back to this subject of this driver's wife having this respect now for what truck drivers go through, because she was under the impression that, you're a truck driver and you're just out, you're going by the Grand Canyon, you're going by the Statue of Liberty, mm-hmm. You're seeing the sights and everything's just honky-dory because, you're going for a ride, right? Because what do most people think about driving? On a Sunday or maybe every now and then they go out for ice cream, right? And they go 15 miles down the road, they're on a back road, and all things are fun, right? It's a nice little ride. But you seem to forget when you go on a trip, you know, the dreaded, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there? Imagine that for 3,000 miles, right? So now she realized that truck drivers aren't just getting a cruise for the day.
We don't go sightseeing.
Right. This ain't you know, it's all well and good to sightsee, but if you're paying attention, watching your mirrors every 7 to 8 seconds, and you're watching for other vehicles, you're not really seeing the sights like people think you are.
No, you're not.
You just aren't. So here's what I propose. Back in the day, they used to make everybody in the office go for at least one trip with a truck driver. Even if you go for a whole day trip, right? Just to see what they go through all day long. Like, you know, even a city driver out there backing, you know, putting up with traffic, you know, backing in off roads that it's hard to do, blah, blah, blah. People in the office even developed more of a respect for what that driver's going through.
Right. I think we were talking to someone, and they were in dispatcher safety, but it was someone that was in this, you know, in that type of area, and they said that the one thing they did was go out on a trip with, you know, when they first started out, to get the feel of what a truck driver actually goes through, and that they, you know, definitely said that anybody in the recruiting department should really do the same thing, so they could see what the drivers go through, so that it gives them a better chance of recruiting from a perspective of being in the cab at one point or another.
Right, exactly. I mean, you think about this. You bring somebody into the office of a trucking company, and they kind of more have an attitude of, you know, just do your job to the trucker. You know what I mean? Just kind of a toughen up, don't be a baby out there, blah, blah, blah. But you put them in the truck for a day or two, they come back every time saying, I never knew.
Right.
And so how much more easier and of a better trucking company would it be as a whole that everybody had an understanding what the backbone of the company had to go through? Because without the truck driver, the company doesn't make it. You know, I mean, I understand there's other parts of the trucking industry, but without the driver, your trucking company is absolutely nothing.
No, not if that's what your commodity is of transporting. You know, it's not like you're making it and it's getting somewhere else. It's you're actually transporting goods. So without the driver, you are nothing.
Well, back in the day, back when I was a driver, and even before that, there were companies, it was mandatory. If you come to work here at Troy's Trucking or whatever the heck company you were coming to work for, and you're going to be dispatcher, or you're going to be a log, you know, the log person doing logs, or whatever department you were in, you were required to do at least 1 or 2 trips with a truck driver so that you understand what they are going through. And believe me, man, those companies thrived better just because it wasn't a, you know, big argument with inward the personnel inside versus the truck driver on the outside. Because I mean, I've been in arguments with dispatch, and I'll never forget the argument I had with Dwight, my ex-dispatcher, and you know, we were arguing. It was Memorial Day weekend. I've told this story years ago, and he used to get me home every other weekend. I would always be home by that Friday, and it was Friday afternoon, right? And I had to get home to get the sand for the pool. Do you remember that?
I do, and it's actually funny because I always thought, okay, Memorial Weekend, what were you doing? What was that going on? And then I remember, yeah, had to be the pool.
Right. And
your
so,
uncle was helping us install it.
Right. Well, I had to be home at a certain time to be able to get the right sand, or the place was going to be closed for the weekend. And what does he say to me in Harrisburg? And remember that we only lived like 45 minutes north of Harrisburg, okay, up in the coal hills there. Well, maybe an hour. And so normally they would just go, okay, go home for the weekend. Instead, what does he do? He says, oh, we have a load down in Brandywine, Maryland that we need you to go pick up a roll. It was going to be in a drive-in. I remember this. It was a roll of coils, copper wires, pallets of wire. And I was like, you're kidding me, right? He said, no, I need you to do that. I'm like, dude, you always send me home from here. I said, I told you that I needed to be home before this place closes. You're sending me south into the D.C. area, okay? Literally, or no, it was Brandywine, Virginia, not Maryland. I had to go below D.C. That's what I remember. It was on the outskirts. I said, you're sending me down there. There's absolutely no way that I'm going to get home to get this pool together for Memorial Day weekend for my kids. I said, meanwhile, you'll be at home grilling your burgers, okay, on your freaking grill, petting your dog, and having your wife bring you a damn beer. I'll be driving tonight. I said, and you already knew that I needed to be home, and you're doing this BS. I was pissed. But, I mean, I went and I picked the load up, and I think you went and had somebody else go help you get the sand while I was gone or something. I forget. But the bottom line was, he had never been out on the road. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So he didn't really kind of have that respect for a guy that's been out 2 weeks, and you knew as the dispatcher, you told him you were going to get me home, and there you are at the last minute, okay, asking me to go and pick up a freaking load on Memorial Day weekend near D.C. I wonder what that traffic was going to be like. But anyways, that's the reason I brought this up. I really believe it would be pretty cool if trucking companies would just start doing this. If you want a better trucking company, get everybody on board, okay, in the industry, and I promise you'll have a better morale, and the people on the inside won't be bitching as much about the drivers. They'll be more, sympathetic to what they're going through.
Yeah, they'll have more empathy, better perspective of what the drivers go through. But you know, it would be really nice if they could probably have someone, you know, the driver go into dispatch and recruiting at one point, just so that they could see what it would be like, or even in safety, like dispatch and safety. I mean, recruiting's not something as much, but you know, if they could at least see what it is to go through each type of department to help them understand what each other does go through, because everyone has that story, or everyone has that complaint, or everyone has that same gripe that of what they have to go through, but they never understand what the other person still has to go through. So every single person in every department is going to have something that they're going to have to deal with, and it's nice if you can kind of see what it is. Maybe you won't do it as much.
Moving on. Let's take a quick break.
Moving on.
Truck Parking Club is a network of instantly reservable daily and monthly truck parking locations throughout the U.S. Truck Parking Club helps connect truckers to truck parking locations throughout the U.S. via truckparkingclub.com. Our networks is made up of property owners that have locations adequate for truck parking to list on the platform. This includes trucking companies, storage companies, CDL schools, trailer leasing companies, real estate investors, truck parking operators, and more. Go to truckparkingclub.com today.
Attention trucking companies and truck drivers. If you need help with cash flow, we've got help on the way. Turn to Tab Bank, the bank that knows trucking. Tab Bank has been in the business of helping truck drivers and trucking companies with their cash flow needs for 25 years. It's just that simple. It's what they do, but they don't stop there. Tab Bank helps grow your business with their invoice, factoring, and banking services. What a plus that is. Before you book your next load, play it safe and contact Tab Bank to get their help with your factoring needs. Tab Bank helps determine the credit worthiness of your customers as well as billing and collection efforts on invoices that you factor with them. Let the experts at Tab Bank get you cash quickly for the loads you deliver. Again, it's what they do. Visit tabbank.com/talkcdl to learn more. That's tabbank.com/talkcdl. Tab Bank member FDIC.
All right, we're back. Can I see your phone? Interesting article somebody had told me about this week, and the reason I need your phone is because might actually be making a phone call. I have this pod mic here, this pod track. It's supposed to be able to do phone calls, but I forgot the one wire, so I have to do it the old-fashioned way. But check this article out. I looked it up. A driver was telling me about this. He drove for this company out near Greeley, Colorado, right? And because of the cattle and the meat packing plant out there, they actually had in the town of Greeley, are you ready for this? A stinky hotline. I'm serious, an odor hotline for when the plant got so stinky, people could call in and let them know that the smell is just an atrocity. I guess if you're near a meatpacking plant, it's got to be pretty nasty. Because we drove for that pig farmer, and it's a smell you really don't get used to.
No, I never got used to that smell. You used to get it because your car had the mud underneath, and when you would drive it, it would like burn that mud. It just stank so bad. We couldn't drive your car anywhere else but back and forth to work.
Okay, it says the smell people refer to is mainly from the meatpacking and livestock in around Greeley, but the city has tried hard to clean up the smell, if you will. It says one thing that was implemented was an odor hotline. The trucker that was telling me about it, he called it a stinky hotline, that you can call if the smell is just too overwhelming. We didn't know this was even a thing, did you? And the answer is no, I didn't. But guess what? I have the odor hotline right here.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured let's try it right here on the air just to see who answers, because it says it's Monday through Friday. So we'll probably get a recording, but I want to see what it actually says. And should I give the number out? The stinky hotline. Why not? 970-350. It's not like they can't look it up. 9831 is the stinky hotline in Greeley. We're going to hit it right now. I want to hit the speaker. Here, listen.
You have reached the City of Greeley Odor Hotline. Please leave a detailed message, including your name, phone number,
Did she
date,
say odor?
time of day, location of...
I'm going to redo it because here, let's do it. Ready?
You have reached the City of Greeley Odor Hotline. Please leave a detailed message, including your name, phone number, date, time of day, location of the odor, and a brief description of the odor. A member of the code compliance staff will investigate the odor if the call is received during regular business hours. Complaints received after hours or on weekends will be recorded and investigated when possible. Thank you. At the tone, please record your message.
Yeah, hey, this is Troy with Talk CDL Trucking Podcast, and I actually am surprised when I heard about the odor hotline, and overwhelming. If y'all ever want to talk about it online on the podcast, what the truckers go through and everything like that, give us a call back here. Look me up. All right, thank you. Why not? I'll interview them. What?
I'm gonna get a call on my phone because
Oh, that's your phone. I'm sorry,
yeah.
I use yours.
So and not only that, but I totally got a Beavis and Butthead so image in my head of all these drivers making prank calls and saying, "I've got an odor, my brother's butt."
No, I'm serious. I mean, I don't care. I left them my number. I mean, their numbers.
You didn't leave them a number.
I didn't leave them a number. I told them who I was. Give us a call back. And I forgot that it was your phone. But anyway, so that actually does exist. the smelly hotline. I was going to go, hey, yeah, this place stinks out here. And I was going to make something up, but
They have to get a lot of pranks. I mean, honestly,
yeah.
think about it. I mean, I know all the different stuff. When someone would call my house, my brothers would answer the phone and do like tons of different, like, you know.
Yeah. It was a trucker that told me about that. I guess, I think he said he drove for JBS when he discovered that. I guess maybe JBS picks up out there. I don't even know. But I guess it's the meat packing and stockyards out there that smell. I never thought I would hear a company owning up to the smell and going, all right, call us and tell us if it stinks. What the hell can they do about that? What can you actually do about the stink? If everybody calls and says, hey, it's a stinky day, what are they going to do? Like put fans on, and what do they do?
I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I know like lime and stuff like that. I don't know what they could do there. I mean,
It's like for dead bodies right there. What are you talking about? Huh?
the body farm. I don't know.
Interesting.
That's a true thing, though. The body farm.
Yeah.
They do have it. Forensics.
All right. Well. Okay, moving on.
Moving on.
If you're a driver looking for a new trucking job, check out NCI. NCI offers the following: new Kenworth T680s, competitive wages, solo, team, and students welcome, plus a full benefit package for you and your family. Check them out today at 888-311-7076. That's 888-7076, and tell them Talk CDL sent you. For over 20 years, Sumar Financial has been a trusted partner for owner-operators and small carriers, providing fast, flexible, and transparent freight factoring solutions that keep businesses rolling. Here's why truckers choose Sumar. Number 1, same-day payments. Number 2, if a broker doesn't pay, Sumar takes the loss. Zero risk for you. Number 3, no reserve plan. Get all your money up front with no hidden final payouts. Number 4, no long-term commitment. Try Sumar with no minimum volume requirements or long-term contracts. Number 5, fuel card program with top savings. The best network in the country, flexible payment methods, and IFTA support. With fast, hassle-free payments, technology-driven solutions, dedicated account executives, no surprises, no hidden fees. Trust Sumar Financial to get your invoices paid today. And when we say paid today, we mean paid today. For more information and to learn about Sumar, go to landings.sumar.com/TalkCDL. That's landings.summar.com/TalkCDL.
Okay, so check this out. Crazy. I actually posted a meme about it the other day, but listen to this. CVSA votes to put truck drivers with limited English out of service.
I did see something similar to that.
Yeah, I had put a post on it, went viral the other day. It was insane. I'm going to read a little brief part about it, and I'm going to read a little bit of something else. It says, the Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance Board of Directors voted on Thursday to make English proficiency violations grounds for truck drivers to be placed out of service, a decision that could significantly reduce trucking capacity. The vote, held under an emergency provision in CVSA's bylaws, came just days after President Donald Trump issued an executive order directing that the federal out-of-service criteria be revised. What does that mean, revised? Well, somebody obviously took it away. We'll read that. He says, to reflect the policy change, reversing a less stringent policy that has been in place for 10 years. What does that mean? Somebody reduced it so that people can speak all languages in the country and nobody understands like how to read signs and all this other stuff. And I'm not trying to be mean towards foreigners. I'm just saying this is what's been going on. Here's what it says. Under the Obama administration in 2016, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration removed the requirement to place truck drivers out of service for violating federal English language proficiency rules. The new out-of-service rule becomes effective June 25th. So during the Obama era, okay, they went lax on it and said, you know what, we're good with anybody that doesn't know how to speak English. Trump gets in and he said, no, we're going to stick to people that understand how to read the road signs, how to read directions, how to communicate. This is the way it has to be. This is the United States of America. This is our country. This is how we're going to do it. He signed it, and it starts on June 25th. And now you get pulled into a way station, okay, literally, guess what? You literally, if you can't speak or read English, if you can't prove to one of the officers, they're going to put you out of service. You're going to be done driving in the United States. So I would tell you guys, if you're hearing me and you're understanding what I'm saying, or somebody's translating for you, I would brush up on my English. And I'm just being honest, because you're running the risk right now of not being able to drive in the United States.
Well, I think they did that mainly, because there were so many problems with people going into the companies and not being able to communicate about their delivery or their pickup or
Everything.
They get pulled over. They can't go through an inspection because they're not understanding what the officer's saying, or they're not being able to tell the officer certain things that are going on, an accident, anything. And we do a lot of things visually also when it comes to the signs, like you said, and now with the digital signs over top of a lot of the interstates and the toll roads. If there's an accident, I mean, we've seen it a couple of times, where it says crash ahead, slow down, or whatever the case might be. If you're not understanding, the reading of in the English language, you're not going to get that, and you can create more issues because you're not understanding what's being said and coming up onto it and either wrecking also or...
Listen to this. It says President Trump believes that English is a non-negotiable safety requirement for professional drivers, as they should be able to read and understand traffic signs, communicate with traffic safety officers, border patrol, agricultural checkpoints, and cargo weight limit station personnel, and provide and receive feedback and directions in English, the White House officially shared. So think about that. Here's the thing. If you went into somebody else's country, would they receive us the way we receive them? No, the answer is no, they wouldn't. You're going to either abide by their rules, or you just think we're even welcome there. So, there's got to be rules when you come into somebody's house. And you know what's really funny? I talk to truckers all the time, thousands of them. And you know what they all say? And, we've got Talk CDL, the Facebook page. It's huge, right? You wouldn't believe the comments when you ask about problems on the road. 80% of the truckers say, oh, yeah, nobody speaks English. That's literally what they say.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you there. It's people can't speak it, but not only that, but when it comes to, like you said, can they go, if we went over to another country, would they have an issue? Most countries, there's a lot of them that can speak, English. Like there's a lot of them that use English as being part of their second language or something like that. They're trying to teach because they understand that English is a very universal language. If you're not understanding it, you need, when you go to come into the country and you're doing it, through the oath and all the stuff, you have to say that all that stuff in the English language. We were there with our daughter.
Yeah, I understand that, but a lot of these guys are illegal. So, but I wanted to share with a meme. Yes, there's a lot of drivers, Ruthen, that have illegally come into the country and they got their CDLs. Literally.
Yeah, they're stopping that now, though. They're making it where you have to use the English language. All I'm saying is...
I'm just saying whether they stopped it or not, it's here, and that's why the drivers are always writing into me and telling me the biggest problem on the road right now is nobody speaks English. But I wanted to share this meme with you that I seen recently. It was a truck driver in the middle of a cut-down cornfield, right? And the DOT officer drove out there. This truck driver was literally in the middle of the field, and the guy
he just drove out in the middle of the field.
Just drove off the road into the middle of the field, right? And the DOT officer is trying to talk to him. He doesn't understand anything, and all the guy's doing is holding up a screen going GPS, GPS, GPS. His GPS told him to go out there, and so because he doesn't understand English, he just followed the line and went out into the field. You know, exactly. And there he is. You know, tires are sunk down because it was, you know, loose, muddy dirt, and you're sitting there scratching your head. You know, you might think it's comical at first, but it's really a problem. So I'm glad that we have rules. Without rules, you have chaos.
Exactly.
And so look, I have, you know, people, they want to call you racist and all this other crap if you make a comment, and you can call me whatever you want. I believe that if you're going to be in the United States of America, whatever the main language is, if you want to participate in federal jobs and all that other stuff, okay, you got to speak English. That's all it's to it. I have literally no problem with that rule at all. If I went over to Russia or China or Mexico or wherever and I couldn't speak their language, I guarantee you they're not going to give me a CDL. They're not going to give me a federal job. They're not going to give me a job that's a really, really good job. In fact, they might put me in jail if I try to pass myself off as something. Anyways, that's really all I wanted to say on this. I say good for this administration's decision to do that.
No, I think it's
Okay.
definitely going to improve the industry.
Right, and we're not getting political here either. I'm
No.
not siding with,
It's the
like I
improvement
said,
of the industry. It
Right,
has nothing to do with the political portion of it.
I'm not putting the Obama administration down for doing what they did. They laxed it. Now the Trump administration's what's the word? Just reinstating what was before the Obama administration. I'm just saying, leave the political stuff out, but you look at the language in this country, we all got to be able to speak the same language, especially when you have 80,000 pounds under your ass going down the road. Ruthann, moving on. Do you have the word of the day?
I do.
That's pretty much it. You know, I did want to mention one other thing real quick. Autonomous trucks going down the road, but not just autonomous trucks now in Texas. I'm just going to make a brief statement on this because I don't want to get into it. We'll talk maybe more about it later on. But now it's fully driverless. There's 0 drivers in, I know they were going to start off with 1 or whatever. I think it's Aurora Innovations or one of them autonomous truck builders. They literally just started this past week on I-45 in Texas. Personally, I love Texas, but I don't like their decision to allow this. And OIDA is pretty pissed off. They're skeptical. I'm skeptical. I'm more skeptical because of once this starts rolling. Once this starts, like I remember when they first said, "Oh well, it's going to create more jobs." What's a bullshit? It's such
How's
bullshit.
it gonna take a job?
I know that's what they said. Oh well, there's always going to have to be a driver in the truck, just like an airplane. There's a pilot in there, right? They all started saying this crap, and it's like there's got to be technicians, and these drivers are going to be more advanced, but there's always going to be somebody in the truck. Here we go. Not even down the road 10 years from now, like they said it wouldn't be till, and now here it is really fast. There's no drivers in there. All you need to do is just keep the ball rolling here. And in 10 years, there won't be many truck drivers in trucks if this keeps going the way it is. I'm telling you, you watch and see. Give an inch. Trust me, they want your trust in this, right? And Texas, personally, you should be ashamed of yourselves for allowing this because this is going to hurt truck drivers. You watch and see. That's my opinion. Ruthann?
Well, we had all of the car manufacturers? We had a lot, like Ford, Chevy and stuff. Weren't they in Detroit?
Yeah.
Okay. Weren't they all using humans to assemble these vehicles?
Yeah, at one time.
Exactly. Now look what happened to Detroit. It's all gone from there because they started using machines, right?
They still use some humans. I mean, there's still a lot of jobs there, but not as many as there used to be.
My point is that once the robotic or isn't there in like The Simpsons where they used to he screws on the toothpaste?
I don't know. We always refer to King of the Hill or The Simpsons.
I want to say it was one of them where he screws on. His job was to screw on the top of the toothpaste, and a machine came in to do it.
Whose job was it? Homer's?
I think it was Homer's. It was his job was to screw on the toothpaste thing, and
skilled labor.
He was out of the job. But my point is if a robot or something can do your job, what exactly are you doing then? They're not going to come and pay you to do to do nothing while something else is doing your job for you.
Here, you want to hear
And we've experienced it.
You want to hear a little bit of good news on autonomous anything? This past week, I seen Target is ripping out a lot of their self-checkout aisles and bringing back cashiers because of the amount of shoplifting. Who wouldn't have figured that out, right? A lot of shoplifting people are doing in the, okay, I'll wink, wink, go ahead and check myself out. I'm an honest guy. I guess their amount of shoplifting went quadruple through the roof. It would have been cheaper to pay an extra 4 or 5 cashiers in your checkout line versus the billions of dollars you lost in people snagging all your stuff.
Yeah.
Good for you, Target.
Insurance probably was going through the roof too.
Yeah,
For the claims.
And you know what? I hope somehow, some way. The reason I say this, I hope some way, somehow, some way, that the trucking industry will see that, whoa, we might have screwed up cutting out the American truck driver, because that is the goal. You watch and see. I'm telling you, mark my words. I'm telling you, watch it. Don't think Troy's just a conspiracy guy. I'm telling you this. There's a reason why they're investing billions of dollars into having trucks drive without you. That's why it's called driverless trucks. So, anyways, you guys all think about that. Moving on. That's my podcast for the week, Ruth Ann. Give me the word of the day, girl. By Word Genius, by the way. Okay? Let me go ahead and crank this bad boy up for you. You ready? Do it.
Ready.
Go ahead.
Ludic.
Ludic?
Yes.
Ludic. L-U-D-I-C-K?
Okay, Ludic.
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 It sounds like... Nah, go ahead.
Showing spontaneous and undirected playfulness.
Oh.
Kind of like when your dog all of a sudden gets a little, erratic. Like your cats, where the cat, you're watching the cat video and all of a sudden the cat goes just
He
crazy.
gets all ludic.
Yeah. And there you go.
I actually like that term. He's all ludic.
Ludic.
Yeah. All right. Ruth Ann, we're out of here.
Peace.
Peace. Praise the Lord.